Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to What Do I Know with your boy Zuzu. And we're back and better than ever, baby. And a new set, too. Right? We got the new setup, but it's the same old feel. We're going to get in heavy about hip hop as we always do. What Do I Know? The show took a little break during COVID. But we missed a lot. We missed a lot in this hip hop world, and my beautiful commentary hasn't been able to be displayed on YouTube the way it should be. So I worked on this new set, and we're going to flood the gates now, right? So we're going to get right into it. The album that we were waiting for finally came out. Benny the Butcher drops Burden of Proof, right? This album fully produced by Hit Boy. We were waiting for his next project. I don't necessarily know if it's this one, because people kind of want Tana Talk 3. But this one was highly anticipated. Okay? Griselda has been dropping shit all year, right? And they've been doing the right way, like in terms of setting it up. Conway drops a couple projects, then drops his album. I'm this close to saying it's a classic. We'll talk about that another time. West Side drops a few projects as well, and this all sets up the release of Benny the Butcher, right? He's like to me, Benny the Butcher is like the Jewels of the crew. He's the young one that's coming up, and Conway's kind of like the Cam, and I'd say West Side is kind of like Jim Jones, right? You know, back in the day, you know, but like I just see that whole conglomerate, that's the word people like to use. I see that whole crew kind of like that, right? And they're protecting Benny the Butcher, who's going to be young Simba, and they're going to lift him like this and put him out to the world, right? Boy that did a lot of Big Sean's album and did all of Nas's latest album, King's Disease. We were ready for this because we were like, yo, look what he did with those. Imagine with Benny, right? Excitement. And as soon as I heard the album, man, it's like the first lines, I think, sets up the whole thing. The first line, he says, last year was about Brandon, this year's about expanding. And that's what this whole album sounds like. This whole album sounds like I've made it. I've leveled up. Like I was here and no, I was there and now I'm here. Like I've arrived, you know, like the whole, especially the intro, it's called Burden of Proof. You just feel like he's like kicking down the door on some Stone Cold shit, or kicking the glass, I should say, and saying like, can I get a hell yeah? But no, he's saying I've arrived, right? And overall, the whole album has that feel. It's like, oh, right? And I love that. Going throughout the album, it has a real Rockefeller feel. That's what everybody's been saying. To me, it has more of a state property. Like, these are the beats that, like, you were given state property. Not necessarily the ones Jay-Z got, but, like, you know, the leftovers that Just Blaze had. The leftovers that Heatmakers had that was going to the rest of the crew. That's what this album sounds like. And, oh, my God, the bar level. Like, he like, leveled up on his lyrical ability too, and he's been always like up to par. And I feel like as a fan, I've been like giving him the side eye, kind of like I'm waiting for him to like stumble or like give me a whack verse, and he just doesn't. And on this one, it even steps up even more. He gives us like how do I say, like he goes deeper into his story. He gives us vulnerability. He gives us foresight, right? He sees where he's going to be. If I work this hard, this is where I can go. This is how I was feeling during this time. It's not only shoot, shoot, bang, bang, kilo, kilo on this album. It's a lot of like, you know, something Hov would do with Reasonable Doubt. Not comparing the albums, but he just dug deeper into the hustler's mind. And I can see somebody like Benny who's, you know, in his 30s, like, having this album be like a dream come true for him. It's almost one of those things where like I always want to make hip hop how it was in the golden era, right? When Rockefeller, Rough Riders, G-Unit, and Mobb Deep, all those people were out. I can see Benny being a big fan of that era and wanting to make this album, right? So like I get why he made an album like this. As I'm going through it, the first song that stands, besides the intro, the first song that stands out to me is Famous, right? He has a line in there that he says, I remember doing stick ups for less than $100, and now I don't get dressed for less than 100,000. And like that line on a song that's called Famous is just like, it puts you in that perspective. Like I said, I've made it. I was here, I was there, and now I'm here, right? And in the song, he says, I got all this shit, but I don't feel like I'm famous. And it's crazy because he is in that weird position where like, all right, are we going by who sells the most or who got the most skills? You know, when we're talking about the top rappers. So he's in that like, yeah, everybody respects me, but I ain't selling records like I should be, right? I don't really feel famous. I got the money like I'm famous, but I don't. So they're still in that gray area of like popping off. And it's good that Benny does that though, because he leaves room to grow. He leaves room to like continue to itch for that fame that he's talking about, if he wants that. Going down the album, he has a song called Timeless with Lil Wayne and Big Sean. Lil Wayne. Everybody knows I'm a Weezy stan, but Lil Wayne gave us one of the verses, like, okay, he gave us a crazy verse. He knew he was on the track with Benny, okay? He gave us a dope verse, and Big Sean also did his thing. You know, I'm one of those people that's very critical of Big Sean because sometimes he'll come on a song and annoy the fuck out of me and mess up the song. But he doesn't annoy me on this one, and he kills it, right? There's just bars galore. I like when Benny says, like, I came a long way from the Timex Classic. He knows how to describe things that put you back in that era. Like, if you're in your 30s, you just know what was happening in that era. And the fact that he can just call back to that all the time is like, very impressive. So throughout the album, there's just more of this, like, timeless, hence the name, feel. This, I've made it feel, this triumphant type of music. Over the Limit with Dom Kennedy. That's one of my favorites. That one gives you a real Dipset feel. Miami Vice type vibe. War Paint with the Crew. Conway? Yo, what he said? I don't step on the crack like I'm super. Come on, Conway. So just going through the album, like I said, you get that feel. What I think he should really like hone in on with this one is visuals. He knows how to describe, like I said, he knows how to call back. He knows how to remember those things that were happening at that time very well. So he's very believable. You believe everything he's saying. And I think that adds to what he's doing. I think the visuals will be able to bring it to another level. I think if he can make, I've said this on a previous podcast, if he can make some movie type videos, just longer videos, that just get into these records and paint the picture that he's painting on the records, I think it'll bring this album further. I think it'll stretch it out into next year if he can do that. I know it's tough with COVID trying to get everybody together, but I think he needs to pull off the visuals because his lyrical ability is so potent. It just, like I said, it paints that picture. So with every album, I like to at least say something I would improve on, right? Because like not every album is perfect. And you know, the album is great, so I don't want to nitpick. There's only 12 tracks on there, so there's little room for error in this album. But the only thing I wish, well, there's two things I wish. One thing is I wish we got like just one beat out of the 12 that gave me some new feel with Hit Boy. Because Hit Boy has done so many records. His versatility is like so wide that I wish we would have gotten like just a different bop, just something not necessarily trap, but just something new with a new feel. Not so nostalgic, not only in that feel, but maybe something a little bit more upbeat. Just one beat, just one, and replace one of the songs. And I would have changed the order a little bit. If he would have like put War Paint up top, maybe bring down like a what was that one that people like? Fuck, now I can't remember the name. Now is right with Hit Boy. He gave us the album that was introspective, right? The album that was like gave us heartfelt, even though it was still hard. It was really heartfelt to me, you know, like he's getting into the psyche of a hustler. He says he's gonna drop Plugs I Met 2, and supposedly that one's supposed to be fully produced by Harry Fraud. I can see that one being like, you know, previous Griselda hard beats. But there's rumored he has a Drake song, right? I'm pretty sure he has a whole verse by now. I saved that for the label album, right? So like the anticipation is gonna build. Everybody wants that Drake record, but he's gonna wait. Why would you put it out now? I would wait. I think overall it's a really, really, really good album. Like I said, one bop or two, and just change the order a little bit is all I would do. And I hope we get more videos. I think that would bring this album to another level. But again, what do I know? I don't know a goddamn thing. You feel me?